This podcast is brought to you by sleepyj.com/beats. If you need a beat for your next album, mixtape, or demo project, check out sleepyj.com/beats. That's sleepej.com/beats. Warning, this podcast may offend some people unintentionally. So if you get offended easily, you are advised to turn off now. And if you're still here listening, thanks and enjoy the show. What's up with it, world? It's your boy Sleepy J. You tune in to Sleep Talking. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. This is the Sleep Talking podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube, you're watching Sleep Vision. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for checking me out. First things first, you guys want to know, where have I been? What have I been up to? I took some time off. I know I missed last week because the week just kind of slipped by me. It wasn't that I conscientiously took that time off and I was like, I'm not going to do it. It was more about like, Tuesday came by. There really wasn't a whole lot that I wanted to talk about at that moment. So it's like, let's wait till Wednesday. And then when Wednesday came by, there wasn't anything. By Friday, when something finally came up, I got caught up in the hustle and bustle of doing my weekend stuff, you know. So I didn't really get a chance to do it. I just figured like, I'll just wait till next week because it's so late in the week. And that's why I did not give you an episode last week. And I apologize for that. I don't mean to do that to you guys. I've also been like dealing with a lot of stuff personally. Like I've been thinking about my plans on as far as for moving. I really want to open up my own recording studio. I really want to start, pressing my own t-shirts, things like that. And all those things require time and money. And when you're trying to figure it out, especially when you're, when you're starting out, it just takes a lot of time and money, and you got to figure out how you want to do it. Got to strategize and figure it out. So with that being said, it takes away from it, and I apologize for taking that time out to figure things out. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I don't know if the last time I had in episode 43 if I mentioned, but I know this week. Well, I just want to mention I recorded a new artist 2 weeks ago. He's a really good artist. I really like him. But it really had me thinking about like running my own studio and helping these young artists out as far as for helping them just get their music recorded, helping them sound their best. That's what I like to do. That's what I do. I've helped a lot of local artists in the St. Louis area do that. And which has me thinking, when I move out of town, when I finally leave my hometown and try my hand at being my own person in another city, I'm kind of thinking I want to run my studio. I really don't want to be working a regular 9-to-5 or doing anything like that. And I'm just trying to figure out my path on how I want to go about doing things. And it's a hard path to figure it out. It's a lot of, working on faith and figuring it out. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been thinking about. That's what I've been working on. But I had fun doing it. Also over the weekend, I spent a lot of time. I've been toying with auto-tune. Not that I have I do a lot of singing, but I've been trying to figure out what auto-tune is and how it works and things. I know what auto-tune is. I know how it works in theory, but I've never tried it on my own vocals. So I was just kind of toying around with that. So I haven't really been focusing on beats like I'm supposed to. I haven't, I've been working on new music. I have some new songs that are like skeletons. I have hooks for them. I've been reworking hooks, making them sound better. So now I got to work on the verses, make those sound better. I really want to drop a project here real soon. I'm actually, I'm always going back and forth on am I going to do an EP or am I going to do an album? What's going to work, best for the people that support me and want for me. And then as far as for me, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out to you people? Sorry about that. But with all that being said, I do have a new episode for you guys. I hope you guys are ready. There's a few topics that are going on that I really want to talk about, and we'll get into music after that. So let's see here before we get into it, where do I want to start? Let's start with this backlash with Cardi B. So Cardi B, first of all, earlier this week she said she was taking time away from Twitter because she just pretty much got tired of the politics of Twitter. Then somebody pulled up an old video of her on a live stream where she was talking about when, she's self-made. She's done, nothing's handed to her. She's worked hard for herself, and she's been dealing with that for a long time. She's talked about being a stripper and how she used to drug men and take their money. And, and then I seen some people online saying like they need to keep that same energy with Cardi B as they would anybody else for doing that. And I was thinking about this, and I really don't think, like, if you're thinking that a guy would be in more trouble or looked at more frowned upon for drugging and robbing a woman versus a woman drugging and robbing a man, I think those are pretty even. Like, you're being violated either way. Now, if you're trying to say that her drugging and robbing men is the same as like a Bill Cosby where he was drugging and raping, I think those are two different kinds of extremes. Like, one is raping, or if you're saying like, oh, if he drugged, raped, and robbed, like you're adding charges to it, so that makes it more heinous and more of a big deal. I think those are two different false equivalencies. I think if anybody drugs and robs you, you're gonna feel violated, and it's wrong. I don't think anyone, like, society wise, you're not looking at this as like, oh my God, this is so much worse because it's a man doing this to a woman or a woman doing this to a man. I think they're pretty even in that sense. And again, we as a society look at things differently whenever it's like man versus woman. Like, we might not want to, but we do. If a woman hits her husband, and that doesn't matter, you automatically think it's funny because in your mind, when you think of a woman hitting a man, you're probably thinking, oh, she's probably 5'5", 130 pounds, hitting a man that's 6 foot 5, maybe let's not even say 6 foot. Let's say he's 5'10" and 200 pounds. There's a big size difference in that, but at the same time, you're thinking like she couldn't really hurt him. But what if the role was reversed? What if he was 5'5", she's 5'10", and she weighs 200 pounds, and she hits him, and he's only 150 pounds? That's a big difference. You're not going to laugh at it. You're going to be like, man, she fucked him up. Well, you probably still will laugh at it because you think it's kind of crazy and absurd. But if he hit her back, you're still looking at him like he's a man, whatever. I just look at things like, assault is assault. Regardless of if you're a man or a woman, it's assault. If it's, if the charge of robbery is the same, regardless of man or woman, it's still the same. You're not more outraged one or the other. You're just like, at least I don't think you should, think that it's worse for a man to rob a woman versus a woman robbing a man. I think a robbery is a robbery. Now, when you're getting to assault and rape charges and things like that, I can see where, like, again, society has their views of what is what. And I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. I mean, that's my personal take on Cardi B and her backlash as far as for that. Moving on, let's see here. Since I kind of touched on, well, let's talk about Jussie. Jussie Smollett, if you haven't heard, his charges were dropped. And here's what I think about why those charges were dropped. I don't know any facts. I'm actually I wish they didn't steal the documents, but let's get into it. So the Jussie Smollett situation, if you guys hadn't heard, a while back, he said that he was jumped by two white men. They beat him up. They poured bleach on him. They put a noose on him. Said that it was MAGA country, which, Jussie being a black man and gay, that's very problematic, and it was a horrible thought. Now, he claims right now that he's always told the truth, and as of right now, the courts have dismissed all charges because they were saying that he had lied because they had caught two suspects. They were two black men. I don't remember where they were from. I believe they were from the islands or some sort of islands. And they wound up, so obviously they weren't white men. They couldn't have been what he described, and they said that it was all a hoax and a setup and whatever. And so now the Chicago was charging Jussie with 16 charges for lying to them and wasting all this money and all this and that. And now the courts have met with him, and they have decided to let him go. They kept his bond money, which is $10,000. They didn't want to give him community service because he's already it works in the community already as it is, so it really wasn't much of a punishment for them from what I could understand. That's what they said. And then they sealed these documents. Now, my thinking of this is there's some foul play somewhere. Whether the police found out something in an illegal manner, because we all know like Chicago, NYPD, and LAPD have historically been known for doing things a little bit fucked up. Not my taste. I've never had any, personal interactions with any of these people, but I know historically I've always heard there's some corruption in all those police departments. But nonetheless, so I'm thinking either when they went to court, the judge seen it, was looking at it, was like, are you guys fucking kidding me with this case or with this evidence? And that, like they were getting ready to get into the meat and potatoes of it, and they really found out like there's something wrong on both sides. And then, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna seal this up. You're gonna accept your part on it, so we're gonna accept our part in it, and we're just gonna go on about our business and not talk about it. That's what I think is going on here. I have no proof. I have no evidence. This is just a theory of mine that both Chicago, the city of Chicago, and Jussie have both been found in doing something wrong, and they're like, you know what? Let's just keep our mouths shut and keep it moving. And Jussie came out right after and said that he's maintained his innocence and that what he said is 100% factual. And nobody's going to be able to fact check it because you can't look at the documents because they've been sealed. So there's that. But nonetheless, so that's the Jussie Smollett situation. I think at this point, Jussie winds up being like the new O.J. Simpson. Like, we know you lied, but you're going to get away with this and let everyone else know that, like, you got away with this, but it's not okay. So don't fuck up again. That's what I think the moral of that story is. So the next couple things are kind of related. Well, actually, before I get into it, let's go ahead and get into this. The Pentagon has transferred $1 billion to build a wall for the Mexican border, which I think is crazy. I had no idea that this was happening, but apparently this has happened. And apparently, every time they stop building for the day, there's people that are stealing the supplies that is left behind, meaning like they're stealing the barbed wire and things like that, and they're putting it around their houses and things like that. So I find it kind of funny. It's fucked up because it's wasting our own money and our resources for this, but apparently the Mexicans on the border are actually stealing the supplies as soon as the Americans are leaving the supplies there for the day. So I find that interesting and kind of funny. I don't really have any thoughts on it other than I can't believe that there was money found to start putting this wall together. And it's not like a sturdy wall either. From what I can see, it's like a metal divider more than anything. So I wouldn't really call it a wall, which I think it's more like a metal fence. And I thought we already had one, but I guess they're doing another, like a higher one right now. So I don't know. That's a thing. I can't believe it. And then like the next two things are like, they're kind of go together. Well, they don't all go together. So let's just go into, there's three more things. I apologize. So let's get into this. I think the guy was 36 years old, and he kicked a woman on the train in New York in the face. If you guys didn't see it, it went kind of viral. I remember, I watched it on Instagram, and I seen other people posting. I seen Michael Rappaport posting it. Seen a lot of people talking about it. But it's a 36-year-old black man on the train, and all you really see is him, like, he gives this lady, like, I want to say at least three, maybe somewhere between 3 and 5 kicks to the face. And then he walks off the train. It's like, world star that. So it was a really messed up situation. The lady, she's, like, crying. I don't know if she had blood coming from her face or anything, but she was, like, crying afterwards. It's a really, like, less than 1 minute video or whatever. You just kind of see it. Now, we don't know what happened leading up to it, and I know a lot of people were upset that, like, how did all these guys sit back and watch it? And the man was arrested for it, and I do know that it was an interesting situation as far as yes, he was arrested for it, and yes, he was wrong for it, but I think his take on why he did it was supposedly he had his wife and his daughter on the train, and the lady threatened to stab them or do some sort of harm. Now, she's 74 years old, And if someone threatens you because you get too close to them or next to them, I think you should just be like, you know what, I'm going to move, but if you come near me, then I will be forced to react. But she's 74 years old. I don't think she was going to follow them. I don't think she was going to do anything to them. And also, frankly, I didn't see no woman get off the train when he got off the train. Like, they didn't show I didn't see no woman get off that train and follow him or with a kid or anything. So I don't know that I buy that story that she threatened us and that caused me to do that. So yeah, I think that it was a really fucked up situation. I know a lot of people are mad at all the guys that stood around and whatever. The only thing I will say as far as for those guys that were there, like, yeah, it was fucked up that you probably should have stepped in and said something to them. Or even the women. There was a lot of people around. There was probably like 15 people around, and I'd say at least 5 or 6 people had their cameras out. So there had to be something that led up to them taking the video of that situation. Like, why? What caused you to video the situation? Did you hear them both arguing? Did you see him start talking shit to her first? Like, what exactly led up to that situation? But I do think, like, it was a horrible thing that all those guys were sitting there watching it and no one bothered to step up to him, like pull him off or stop him. They pretty much just let him do his thing and then get off the train. But, you know, he got caught. You know, power of social media for you guys, people that don't know, that when you do anything, that anyone can be recorded and it can be caught and used as evidence against you. Prime example of that. So beware if you're going to be beating up on old women on the train. But then let's get into this. If you guys have never heard of Adam 22, he has a podcast called No Jumper. He's known for interviewing a lot of rappers that are on the come up, a lot of the littles and the youngs and the new up and comer mumble rappers and things like that. I tune into his podcast from time to time, so I personally like it. He apparently had someone try to rob him on his live stream, not once but twice. I believe it was in the same day, which is fucking nuts. Like, who's doing a live, video and then someone runs up with a gun and like you see it. Like, at first, like, his eyes bug out, he freaks out for a second. The guy goes to stick the gun in his face even more so than what it already was on the live feed. And then he, like, pushes the guy off, gets up and beats him up, takes his gun or whatever, which was fucking bananas. Then, afterwards, it happens again a couple hours later. What are the odds that happened? Like, you guys are wilding if that's a thing that you guys are doing. I can't believe, like, people are like, why? I don't understand, like, what they were hoping to accomplish. I guess maybe some clout or something like that. But the first guy was arrested. I don't know about the second guy. I don't know what happened. I know there's a lot of controversy on whether or not it was a real thing or if it was just, like, done for clout and trying to. But I don't think anybody, like, well, the guy got arrested, so I don't think that was a clout move. And I don't think anybody does that. Like, that's a bit extreme to do all that. I don't take Adam 22 as needing to someone to do that. He's already got his own, like, he's already got a solid following. I don't think he needs to do that type of thing to get himself publicity. So I just thought it was crazy that it happened. I seen the first video. I don't know about the second video. I don't know if there was a second video for that, but it was just like a crazy thing. Moving on. Now, I guess this is the big story, I guess, kind of. So there was a Muslim mosque in New Zealand that got shot up last week, which I didn't talk about it or whatever 2 weeks ago when it happened because I didn't have an episode. But that there was this Muslim mosque that got shot up. Some people were killed. Some people were hurt. And that there was a move, like, immediately, like within a week or a couple of days, like New Zealand said that they were going to ban all assault rifles after that. Oops, sorry about the people that just seen that on camera. But yeah, they just went ahead and they decided to ban assault rifles. And a lot of people are saying, like, why can't America do that? Like, this is, they're applauding New Zealand for doing that. Here's the thing. Here is why America cannot and will not do that. It is in our Constitution. I, for one, do not support the idea of giving up your firearms. And people want to know, why do you need to have an assault rifle? Why can't you just, if you really need to have a gun, why can't you keep it at a regular handgun or keep it at a shotgun if you're using it for hunting or whatever? But if you want to do that, then like, why does your car go 136 miles an hour if the speed limit is 60 or 80? Like, you don't need to go that fast, but it's a cool option if you do. In theory, you don't need to have an assault rifle until shit hits the fan. You know, until, like, our motto, like, America has built themselves on, like, look, we don't want anybody to ever be able to invade us and harm us, so we should always be ready to defend ourselves. That is, in theory, what the founding fathers wanted whenever they made our Constitution. Like, look, we're not going to allow the president to ever become a dictator. We're not going to ever allow the military to come in our homes and tell us that, like, this is being confiscated because it's ours, because these are things that they had to go through. So that is, like, our foundation. And granted, we have moved a lot farther along from that time, but I tell you what, I feel a lot safer with the idea of knowing that I can buy myself an assault rifle and always have it on hand if in which a situation should ever occur that we have to fight back to the government or anybody that's intruding our neighborhood, that being a terrorist of any sort, whether it's one from across seas or even our own national terrorist. Even if there's some sort of a civil war, you want to be able to have your own stuff. And again, I think a lot of those people that prep for that on a regular basis are crazy. But if you're prepared for it, you know, there's one idea of, if I'd rather be ready than to be caught with, than not be ready. You would rather be in a position of, like, if shit does hit the fan, I'm okay because I have these things. Versus like, oh shit, I'm behind trying to catch up just to stay alive. Like, you don't want to be in that situation. That's my personal take on it. I don't think that we'll ever see firearms in America taken away, because I just don't. Like, I think at this point it's too far gone. It's too much ingrained in us. I think the best we could hope for is stricter ways of getting guns, but even that's still kind of hard because we have gun shows and we have and I don't think it's people that get guns legally that are really fucking it up. I think it's people like, if you want to get a gun, regardless of if it's legal or not, you can find some way somehow to get it. And so yeah, I do. If you want to check for people that have mental problems or whatever when it comes to buying their firearms, all right. I mean, I personally think that it's all right because I would pass anything like that right now. I don't have any mental issues. I don't have any violent crimes or anything like that. So it doesn't bother me, but I still think that but you know what? Even easier than going to a store and buying a gun, I could find a gun show. I could find somebody that is down on their money, willing to sell their gun and not really worried about what my mental stability is. But that's my take on it. Those are the things that I felt like talking about this week. I apologize to anyone that thinks that I had a short week this week. I was just really trying to get this out this week. As far as for new music, man, there's not really anything new that I'm listening to. I'm still, on the 2 Chainz album. I'm still on the Carly Coy, My Father's Revenge, and that Major Riley, Blood or Run album. So check those out. I'm still, rocking those right now. If you guys have any questions, you guys want to, leave a comment or anything like that for me, please do on my YouTube channel. If you guys want to tweet me at SleepyJ, that's SLEEP_E_J. If you want to Instagram me a message, you can hit me up at SleepyJ, that's SLEEPEJ. If you guys want to show support for the podcast, go to anchor.fm/sleep talking. It's sleep-talking, no G on there. Hit the support button, pick your tier in which you want to support. I appreciate everyone that does that. Also, before I get out of here, guys, I really don't have anything else to say, so sorry about that. Just go ahead and, follow me on all your Twitter, Instagrams. Please, get at me, leave me a message on my Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for checking me out and sending you away with peace, love, positive light vibes, thoughts, and prayers. Until next time, guys, take it easy.